Okay, so let's unpack this fascinating stack of articles and reports you shared with us.
There's a lot in there.
There is, because, I mean, for the better part of a decade, if you talked about a high-performance, long-range electric vehicle, you were talking about Tesla.
They set the standard. That was the benchmark.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
the whole conversation. But something is shifting dramatically.
Well, that's what we're looking at today. It's this sudden and I think for many people unexpected emergence of Xiaomi.
The phone company.
Exactly. The company known for budget smartphones is now delivering this staggering challenge to the high-performance EV market with their YU7 SUV.
So our mission today is really to analyze the complex engineering and financial data you provided.
And we're going to zero in on this really objective verdict from a veteran automotive expert to kind of cut through the noise.
That's right. Because the core of this deep dive isn't marketing copy. This is a professional assessment. We've got the findings from CareSoft Global.
Right, and that's run by Terry Wojciechowski.
The former VP of engineering for GM. I mean, this is the firm that the big automakers pay a lot of money to just to surgically tear apart their competitors' cars.
Every nut and bolt. So when Wojciechowski talks, you know the industry is listening.
And his diagnosis, based on their teardown analysis, it's stunningly clear.
It is. He says the Xiaomi YU7, which is only their second vehicle ever, bested the Tesla Model Y in pretty much every measurable way.
Acceleration, range, charging speed, even the interior quality.
Yeah, which raises this huge question, and it's one for you, the listener, to really think about. How did a company famous for consumer electronics manage to out-engineer these established automakers so fast and with such high quality right out of the gate?
It's a huge question.
And I think the first clue is actually the price.
Okay.
When we talk about this level of performance, you're usually talking about premium pricing. But the YU7 Max, the top trim, is selling for about $45,900 in China.
46 grand, basically.
Right. Now, the comparable Model Y long-range AWD that's currently priced at $56,990.
Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
You're telling me the professional analysis says the YU7 is superior in almost all metrics, and yet it saves the buyer a full $11,000.
$11,000. Is Xiaomi just, burning cash, ding market share, or is the Model Y just wildly overpriced for the tech it has now?
That's the real question.
And based on these teardown results, it really suggests the latter. This is a cold analytical assessment from a guy whose entire career was building high-quality American cars.
And what he's saying confirms that the Chinese auto industry they've achieved a level of manufacturing efficiency and technical integration that has just shifted the entire global baseline almost overnight.
It really has.
Okay, so let's jump right into the data, the numbers that back up Wojciechowski's claim.
That's good.
If we put the top-tier YU7 Max AWD right up against the Model Y long-range AWD, the performance numbers, they really do speak for themselves.
They absolutely establish a new hierarchy here. The Model Y long range, it puts out about 378 kilowatts. So that's 514 horsepower.
That's a lot of power.
It is a lot of power. But the YU7 Max pushes out a massive 508 kilowatts. That clocks in at 690 horsepower.
Wow. So that's nearly a 40% advantage in just raw power.
Yeah, and that power, it translates directly to the pavement. The YU7 Max, it blasts from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.23 seconds.
3.23. And the Model Y is?
The Model Y needs 4.6 seconds. That gap is enormous in the performance EV world.
It's a lifetime.
It is. And even the top speeds are way higher in the YU7 Max, reaching 253 kilometers per hour versus the Model Y's 201.
But, speed is one thing. If you want the single most critical technical differentiator, the one that really signals, future-proofing, you have to look at the charging.
The charging architecture. This is key. Xiaomi built the YU7 using an 800-volt platform. Tesla is still on a 400-volt platform.
Okay, I think we need to break that down for the listener. Why is 800 volts such a game changer? What does that actually mean in, practical terms?
Right. So the simplest way to think about it is like water pressure in a pipe. Higher voltage is like higher pressure.
Got it.
It lets you push the same amount of energy or power through thinner wires with less resistance. And this is the critical part, with a lot less heat.
And less heat means you can sustain a much faster charge without, damaging the battery pack.
Exactly. Much, much faster. And you see that difference so clearly in the charging speeds.
So the reports confirm the YU7 can go from 10% to 80% battery in, what was it?
A mere 12 minutes.
12 minutes. And Tesla needs
27 minutes for that same charge.
That's more than double the time.
It is. And Xiaomi CEO Lei Yujun's backed this up. He claimed the YU7 can add 620 kilometers of range in just 15 minutes. This kind of quick chargeability is it's non-negotiable for mass adoption, especially for road trips.
For sure. It's also important to point out the competitive landscape in China, right? It's not just Xiaomi.
Not at all. The sources mention that competitors like BYD are already using the 1,000-volt architecture,
1,000 volts.
which just confirms that 400 volts is quickly becoming kind of the tech standard of yesterday in that market. It's that competitive.
Okay, so let's switch gears a bit. Let's look at the actual experience inside the vehicle, because this is arguably where Xiaomi really distances itself from Tesla.
I'd agree with that. Tesla's famous minimalist design, it often gets described as Spartan. It's function over feel.
Right. But the YU7, it seems like it's aiming directly at a luxury consumer. Bloomberg's review described the interior as feeling richer and way less utilitarian.
That whole smartphone on wheels idea is really well executed.
Yeah.
They have this sophisticated panoramic display that gives you information intuitively. The digital integration just feels seamless.
And they've added these little touches that just scream premium value.
The refrigerator.
The refrigerator. The reports specifically highlight that the YU7 has a small, functional fridge in the back.
Which is an amenity you typically only find in, like, a super high-end luxury SUV, a Cadillac Escalade or something.
Right. So to get that in a $46,000 vehicle, that's a real statement of intent.
It is. And on top of all that, the simple truth is, it's just a bigger, more practical car.
How much bigger?
The YU7 is nearly 20 centimeters longer than the Model Y, and it has a 3-meter wheelbase compared to the Model Y's 2.89 meters.
And that extra size matters because it translates directly to passenger comfort and more utility.
Right, and a bigger frunk. The front trunk is 141 liters versus the Model Y's 116. So it's not just about speed, it's about delivering a superior, more usable family vehicle.
So we've got superior specs, faster charging, a richer interior, and a lower price. But what really seemed to shock the engineers in that teardown was the pace of Xiaomi's innovation.
That is the deepest insight from this whole analysis. When Wojciechowski's team took apart Xiaomi's first car, the SU7 sedan, they found that the infotainment and driver assist functions needed 4 separate electronic control modules.
4 separate boxes, basically.
Right. And what happened just 12 months later when they tore down the YU7 SUV?
They found Xiaomi had consolidated all 4 of those modules into just one.
One. And that isn't just a technical achievement, it's an operational miracle. To combine 4 functions into one piece of hardware requires incredible software mastery, supplier integration.
And just rapid iteration. It saves weight, complexity, and a ton of manufacturing cost. It proves they're learning and executing faster than legacy automakers.
For sure. And the sources also note they're not afraid to follow Tesla's lead when it makes sense.
Like getting rid of the radar.
Exactly. They removed 2 rear radars and are relying only on cameras for those functions. It's a controversial, cost-cutting move that Tesla pioneered. It just shows they're laser-focused on optimizing every single component.
And that laser focus led to immediate financial results, which might be the most defining data point in this entire deep dive.
It's incredible. The financial reports show that Xiaomi's EV division reported a 700 million yuan profit. That's about 98 million US dollars in the third quarter of 2025.
Okay, let's just pause on that number because the context is staggering. Xiaomi hit a quarterly profit just 19 months after launching its first car.
19. 1-9.
When you look at the others, Tesla. It took them 61 months to reach their first quarterly profit. That's over 5 years.
And even a really successful Chinese competitor like Li Auto needed 24 months.
So 19 months just shatters every assumption about the time it takes to become profitable in this industry.
It speaks volumes about their supply chain expertise and, the inherent cost advantage of being a tech company first.
Unsurprisingly, this success has led to overwhelming demand.
They can't build them fast enough. The sources say the YU7 got 240,000 orders within 18 hours of its launch.
Wow. So they had to raise their 2025 sales target to 400,000 units.
Meanwhile, you look at the market data, and the pressure on Tesla is real. Model Y sales in China are down, almost 20% so far in 2025.
Right. Xiaomi is just capitalizing on a market that sees the 4-year-old Model Y platform as, well, out of date compared to all these new competitors.
A constant stream of them.
Okay, but before anyone listening starts putting down a deposit based on those official range figures, we have to talk about the reality check that the sources lay out.
This is critical.
It's so important for you to understand when you're comparing any EV, especially across different global markets.
That's right. We're talking about the difference between China's CLTC testing standard and the stricter standards like WLTP that we see more often.
The official range for the YU7, like 760 or 835 kilometers, those are based on that optimistic CLTC cycle.
And optimistic is the key word. The average test speed for the CLTC cycle is only about 37 kilometers per hour.
That's barely 23 miles per hour. It's optimized for city driving, stop-and-go traffic, not sustained highway speeds. It makes the range numbers look incredible on paper.
So to get a realistic comparison, a Chinese media outlet did a real-world highway test of the YU7 Max.
Okay.
They drove it at a sustained 61.9 miles per hour with the AC on. And the result for the big 101.7 kilowatt-hour battery, a total depleted range of 306 miles.
306 miles, which is only about 65% of the official CLTC claim.
Exactly. Now, 306 miles is a perfectly respectable highway range for an EV. It's not bad at all.
No, it's pretty average, but it just reinforces that you have to compare real-world highway figures, not just the sticker numbers, when you're sizing up these vehicles.
Right. But regardless of the range adjustments, the product is superior and it's dramatically cheaper.
Yeah.
But it can't cross the ocean right now.
The catch.
The big immediate hurdle protecting Western markets is the tariff wall.
As the reports detail, the U.S. imposed a massive 100% tariff on Chinese EVs back in September 2024.
Which effectively just slammed the door shut. It's a protectionist measure, and it buys automakers in Detroit and Fremont some time to try and catch up.
But Wojciechowski's analysis offers a pretty chilling counterpoint to that.
It does. He estimated that Xiaomi would only need about $3,000 in modifications to make the YU7 comply with U.S. safety standards.
So things like crash safety, lighting, stuff mandated by the NHTSA.
Exactly. And even if you add that $3,000 plus standard import duties, the YU7 still has a massive price advantage over the Model Y.
So tariffs are a temporary shield, but this whole story is a critical warning. Xiaomi is planning a global expansion by 2027, and Western automakers are going to need more than just tariffs to survive that wave.
So if we step back, what's the clear conclusion from all this data you've shared with us?
I think the main takeaway is simple. Xiaomi proved that high-performance, high-quality EVs can be rapidly engineered, sold profitably, and priced significantly lower than the leader.
It's the power of that tech giant approach, bringing ruthless, agile efficiency to a historically slow industry.
And the uncomfortable truth for all the established players is that these Chinese manufacturers have achieved a far superior in-vehicle technology stack. It just seamlessly integrates your digital life.
And now that capability is paired with incredible cost efficiency and high performance.
So the final provocative thought we want to leave you with is this. Right now, Western governments have put up a financial barrier, this tariff wall.
But what happens when these technologically superior and far cheaper vehicles start arriving in markets where price and technology are the only things that consumers care about?
And that day, according to Xiaomi's own timeline, is only about 3 years away.
Thank you so much for sharing these sources with us. Explaining these technical breakthroughs and financial shifts simply for you is what we really love to do here on The Deep Dive.
Absolutely. We encourage you to keep sending us the source material you want analyzed. Make sure you follow us so you don't miss our next deep dive into the information that matters most.
Thanks for listening.